$100,000 is the mental barrier. Back in the 1990s and up to early 2000s, making six figures, aka $100,000, was a goal and something those who did generally bragged about. Today it is nothing to brag about, and in most major cities it is near poverty level wage after taxes, housing and transportation. You will be left with enough to just get by. However, the mental image that a $100,000 salary is great income is still stuck in people's head and serves as a mental barrier for most Americans. I think we will see a major shift in wage demands once we pass this mental barrier. However, I don't think this will happen until the median household income hits near $100,000. In 2022, the median household income was $75,000. Based on an inflation rate of about 2.9 annually, we should see this change in about 10 years from now. So like after 2033. That being said, I personally believe we are going to see higher inflation rates in a few years from now, and thus we will hit this mark before the end of the decade, around 2029. If you made $54,000 in 1998, that's about $100,000 today. Or $100,000 in '98 would be about $188,000 today. I would kill to make $100,000. I keep seeing people referring to median household income as if this is equal to one person's salary. That is not how this number works. Household incomes, the incomes of all the people living there who are not dependents. That's roommates, families, marriages. A vast majority of people do not live alone. $75K is not the average salary in America. My guy, $100K is still a great income compared to what the majority of Americans make yearly. Who has been telling you different? Median income for a single American worker is around $54K yearly. I mean, it would be not quite double what I make now. And with no kids. And not living in a super expensive part of the country. I'd be ecstatic if could hit $100,000. It may not have the same purchasing power it did in the 90s. But the idea that it's not some sort of goal, or wouldn't be a major boon to a lot of people, seems not entirely accurate. 100,000 is excellent in maybe 97% of the country. Perhaps you are talking about the Bay Area, Los Angeles, NYC? What else am I missing here? It really depends on where in the country you live. In my neck of the woods, $60,000 a year is enough to support a family of 4 with a little bit of cash to spare. In California, it puts you at risk of homelessness. I think the sooner everyone realizes that prices aren't gonna go down, the better. They're gonna keep the prices high to keep us working. They don't like the fact we had employers over a barrel. Prices went up, will stay up. They'll raise vehicle prices again, blame it on the striking workers. So it's time to start expecting higher wages. Stop shitting on folks who are struggling in HCOL areas who make what you think is plenty. Just cause you think 100K is plenty in your neck of the woods doesn't mean you can make it work in the areas where rent is easily more than a mortgage. Saying to people who make less than $40,000 a year that making $100,000 is poverty wages is just. I make $33K a year right now, not counting my husband's salary. I would give anything to even be able to make $50K. Let alone $100K. I used to make $52K at my previous job, and while we weren't rich, we were comfortable. We had what we needed and a little bit of what we wanted. Everyone talking about $54K being the median. That's the point ops trying to make. Wages are being held down by this $100K threshold in our collective conscious. 67% of workers make $100,000 or less. It's nothing in 2023. You also have to remember that that's really dependent on being in a major city or its suburbs. As you said, 100K is still a large amount of money in a lot of the country. Do you know how much 100K is? More importantly, what does your budgeting look like? Are you blowing it all by living inside major city areas? Quit calling it inflation. It's nothing more than greed. Nah, I would be thrilled to make $100,000 a year. I don't, and I am doing okay. So, I make over 6 figures. As a couple we make $200,000. We live in a VHCOL city. We live very comfortably. I never worry about being short money or missing a payment. I'm able to put away into savings. We travel a few times a year. However, we still can't fathom buying a single-family home here. I make right around 100K and live near a big city. I'm very comfortable supporting myself and my wife. Some of it is absolutely where you live. Some of it is based on factors you can't control: rent, groceries, gas, etc. But some of it does come down to choices. I'm very deliberate about what I spend my money on. And more importantly, I'm very aware of when I'm spending more than my baseline. I am taking this as what's the new psychological equivalent, not literal dollar equivalent. From my area I would say $250,000. You have no idea how people live. If I made 100K a year, all my problems would be gone. Because all my problems are currently because of money. I don't want an expensive car or house. We already own the one we're in anyways after my yearly bills. That would leave me with almost 85K a year to do what? Invest? Fill my fridge and have hobbies? What on earth are you talking about? That's nowhere near poverty wages. You're using two different statistics. You're saying 100K is the goal and then saying the median household income needs to be 100K. Most households are 2 people. I'm with you. And agree that we should strive for higher pay. But say it accurately. I make about 6 figures. I have a wife, stay-at-home mother, 3 kids. And I live with my in-laws. The rent is cheap but the landlords tend to be overbearing. I like my job and I would like to leave CA, but my wife wants to be close to her family. So here we stay and pray a housing crash happens so we can even afford to rent a place of our own. Face with diagonal mouth. In most major cities it is near poverty level wage. Lol, what? Posts like this should preface that they're talking about supporting a family. A single adult can live nearly anywhere making 100K. I live in one of the biggest cities in the US, and if I made 100K, honestly I'd not have a single financial concern. I make like 1/4 that much and have had a decent life with a savings and trips and such. $100,000 is not poverty level in most major cities. In Houston, for example, the 5th largest metro area in the country, the median income is $30,000. Earning over 3x the median income for an area is well above poverty. The median home cost in Houston is under $300,000. Median rent for a 3-bedroom place is under $2,000 a month, which you could easily afford if you're earning $100,000. 100K would be an absolutely life-changing amount of money. Fucking hate these kinds of posts. How disconnected from poverty you gotta be to say shit like 100K is just enough to get by. JFC. I make 7K per year.